Welcome to Jets Rewind. This is Marty Shupak, and I'm recording this solo. And it's a Friday night, and I guess it's May 7th. And the Jets today just had their first session of their mini camp, and they I tried to get as much information as I could. I was all day. I was trying to read the Twitter feeds of all the Jets beat writers, but apparently Robert Saleh originally he agreed to let him watch the practice for 30 minutes. He increased that to 60 minutes. Didn't find out much else. If you go to the NewYorkJets.com website, they have a couple of pictures in the front of today's mini camp. Very few, just a few pictures, but you do see Zack Wilson. He's in a red jersey. He's wearing number 2. And this I could tell you from the one pass he threw, and also Connor Hughes took a film clip. If you go to Connor Hughes' Twitter, you'll see Zack Wilson has some quick release, and that we knew going in, but it just confirmed it. But on today's show, and I'm doing it solo, I just wanted to go over again the draft picks and the undrafted free agents, just to put down my odds, who I think has the best chance of making the team. And it came out today also that the Jets released a number of players. Wide receiver Josh Doxson, cornerback Kyron Brown, tight end Connor Davis, offensive lineman Leo Kalamatangi, kicker Chase McLaughlin, and wide receiver Jaleel Scott. They placed safety Saquon Hampton on the reserve physically unable to perform list. Out of all those players, there were actually 2 players that I happened to like. One was cornerback Kyron Brown. 2 years ago, I was impressed in preseason. I thought he did really well, but he never could stay on the field. And also Jaleel Scott, the wide receiver. I actually thought he might have a future in the NFL. But as we all know, the Jets went pretty heavy free agency and wide receivers. And also they got Elijah Moore in the draft. So with that said, let's move on, go through the draft picks and the odds of these players making the team. First off, Zack Wilson, he's in 100%. And I saw today ESPN's Rich Cimini brought something out that, according to Rich, of all the teams he played this past season, only 4 defensive players were drafted. So Rich is trying to point out that he didn't play against a lot of talent, which we all know that, and we've been through this for the last month, 2 months, ad nauseum. With that said, I think this kid is going to become a really good quarterback. I think he's going to have a rough first season, but I think he's going to turn a lot of heads. Our number 2 pick, Elijah Vera Tucker, the guard from USC, he's 100% in. He played tackle last year. They're going to move him back to guard, and if he's healthy, he could give us 10 plus years there, barring he doesn't get injured. With the number 2 pick, Elijah Moore, wide receiver, Ole Miss, again, he's 100% in. And a lot of people think he's just a slot receiver. If you watch film with this guy, he could play all over the field. And some draft organizations that rate players, they had him listed as the second best receiver besides Lamar Chase from LSU, even higher than the 2 Alabama receivers. So according to a lot of people too, the Jets got 3 players that were rated in the top 25. And it was said that the NFL scouting combine or whatever had all 3 of these players rated with a 90-plus score, which supposedly it means something. It doesn't mean anything to me or you, but apparently when you get a 90-plus score, it is very impressive. Let's see, round 4, they lucked out. They didn't have any third-round picks. They gave those up to move up for Tucker. They picked up Michael Carter, the running back from North Carolina. He's 100% in. He'll be on the team. And you watch, I predict he's going to get more touches than people think. He will get probably between 15 and 18 touches a game, including rushes, pass receptions, and punt returns. And if you watch some film on this guy, Michael Carter, highlight films from North Carolina. You'll be very impressed. In the fifth round, they took Javian Sherwood, the linebacker from Auburn. He's probably in. I gave him 100%. I'm sorry, 80% chance. Athlon Sports, it's one of the magazines I read religiously, gave him a second or third round grade. He was kind of a 1-year wonder, but he fits Robert Saleh's DNA as far as type of player he is that could cover tight ends. He's strong against the run. In round 5, the second pick, Michael Carter, the second cornerback from Duke. I'd say he has a 60% chance to make the squad. He's a small framed athlete. He's got great speed, and he probably will. It could come down to Michael Carter the second or Lamar Jackson. So if that's the case, usually a new regime likes to keep their players. So he would probably keep Michael Carter the second. Hopefully the Jets will keep Javelin Guidry. I like him. I thought he did a pretty good job covering the slot receiver, and he's incredibly fast. And I think he's a player that Robert Saleh might like. In the fifth round, they took Jason Pinnock. I think there's only a 50-50 chance that he makes the team. He was kind of a 1-year wonder. He'll make it on special teams. That'll be his ticket to making the Jets. In round 6, Hamsa Nasirodin from Florida State. Now, interestingly, this guy was a 6th-round pick, but I'm saying he has a 75% chance to make the team. After the 4th round, he's probably the most talented player that the Jets picked up. Problem is he's coming off an ACL injury, so you might want to look for him to start out on the PUP list, and he may follow the same path as Bryce Hall, not being activated to the second half of the season. But remember that name, if I can pronounce it right, Hamsa Nasirodin from Florida. This guy is a really, really good athlete. In round 6 also, they picked Brandon Echoes, a cornerback from Kentucky. I'm only giving him a 50-50 chance to make the team. Probably be a practice squad player unless there's an injury on the special teams, and then they might bring him up. In the 6th round, the Jets picked up Jonathan Marshall, defensive tackle from Arkansas. Last week, I would have said he only has a 25% chance of sticking, but because of the injury to Quinnen Williams, and by the way, with that injury, welcome to the New York Jets, Coach Saleh. Get used to it. These things happen for whatever reason. I'd say the odds go up from 25% to 50%. No matter how much they downplay the injury to Quinnen Williams, I just think of a guy just not being able to work out for like 3 months, and he's going to be behind everyone else. So I think Marshall has a better chance to make the team this week than he did last week. As far as undrafted free agents, Kenny Yeboah, Ole Miss tight end, I think he's got an 80% chance of sticking. He's a very talented receiver, very athletic. He does not love contact, but if you watch the film of him, he definitely has a shot of sticking, and he'll be a nice target for Zack Wilson. Offensive tackle, Teton Salties from New Mexico. I just think he's got a 10% chance of sticking. I don't see him even to make it to the taxi squad. Now, here's an interesting player on the edge. Hamilcar Rashad Jr. from Oregon State. He's one of 2 players from Oregon State. I predict he's got a 90% chance of sticking to on the team, and he'll probably make the roster. He had an off year last year, and I can't find out the information, but there was an injury. I think it was to his hand, and he did not have a sack last year. But interestingly, in 2019, he had 14 sacks and 22 and a half tackles for a loss. So I think he's going to make the team, okay? Linebacker, another undrafted free agent, Milo Eifler from Illinois. I don't think he's going to be on the team unless they see something with him. Offensive tackle, Tristan Hogue. I say he's got a 20% chance of sticking. I would put it at 10%, but I give him a little bit wiggle room just because he's a teammate of Zack Wilson's at BYU. There's a couple of Rutgers players, a defensive lineman, Michael Dwumfor and a safety, Brendan White, which I love when they're local players. I really root for them, but I don't think they're going to make the team. Here's an interesting guy, offensive tackle from Purdue, Grant Hermans. If you watch his film closely, he checks a lot of the boxes. He started a ton of games for Purdue. I think he's got a 50% chance of sticking. He's more developmental, and even though he's very big, he's like 6'7", and he weighs about 310. He's got to build up his strength as far as his arms and his chest. As a developmental prospect, I just hope the Jets could keep him, and he looks to be like a practice squad player. Chris Nager, he's a kicker from SMU. I say he's got an 80% chance of sticking with the Jets. If he makes his first extra point in the first preseason game, I say he's got a 100% chance of sticking. Safety, Jordan Peters, I just think he's got a 10% chance of sticking. Another interesting player, cornerback from, this is the second player from Oregon State, Isaiah Dunn. I say he's got an 80% chance of sticking. Lindy's Draft Magazine, which is one of the journals which I follow very close, they call him a player to watch, and they describe, and I'll read it right from my notes, scrappy man corner with ideal length and aggression for the job. The Jets happen to pay a lot for him to get him. He was wanted by other teams. I believe he makes the 53-man roster. So that's going to about wrap it up. Now, I just want to point out again, today's Friday. They have more mini camp tomorrow, and then on Sunday. Coming up, they're going to announce the schedule on May 12th. Keep an eye on that. In June, the Jets will be having a veterans mini camp. And then there's a big gap from that mini camp to when they start the regular summer sessions at the end of July. But stick with us on Jets Rewind, and please check out our website. And please, if you're listening to this on an Apple Podcast, they'll give us a 5-star review. It just helps us out. We're trying to keep this format without advertising, so please try to help us out. And if you could subscribe to us on our YouTube channel, Jets Rewind. For Marty Shupak and Jets Rewind, until next time.